Labour is in chaos, folks, and the scandal brewing this week is nothing short of explosive. Sir Keir Starmer is under fire, not just from the Tories, but from his own party. The issue? A shocking delay in defence spending that could shatter Britain's long-standing special relationship with the United States. This isn't just a disagreement over policy, it's a full-blown rebellion, with MPs, military officials, and even former defence secretaries sounding the alarm. The trouble began with revelations from The Times that Starmer plans to delay raising defence spending to 2.5% of GDP until after 2030. At a time when global tensions are mounting and NATO is demanding more from its members, this move has been slammed as a step in the wrong direction. Worse still, former US President Donald Trump is reportedly taking a hardline stance on military contributions, pushing allies to spend 5% of GDP on defence and settling for no less than 3%. Starmer's delayed 2.5% target falls embarrassingly short of even that lower threshold. It's a decision that has left Washington raising eyebrows and Labour's backbenchers seeing red. Even Labour's own MPs are turning on their leader. A growing number of prominent figures, including Luke Akehurst, Dan Carden, Tandesi, and Luke Pollard, have publicly called for an immediate boost in military funding. Liverpool Walton MP Dan Carden didn't hold back, warning that Britain's ability to maintain autonomy and build alliances could be at risk. He argued, "The simple reality is to build strong alliances. We must maintain and build our autonomy. To maintain a good relationship with the US, we will have to spend more on defence." His sentiments were echoed by Defence Committee Chairman Tandesi, who issued a grim reminder. The cost of fighting a war is significantly higher than providing a credible deterrence force. The criticism doesn't stop there. 5 former Conservative Defence Secretaries, including Grant Shapps, Penny Mordaunt and Ben Wallace, have also weighed in, accusing Starmer of endangering Britain's military leadership. Shapps called the decision a slap in the face to our armed forces, while Mordaunt claimed that Starmer's leadership signals a pivot away from the US. Wallace took it even further, expressing fears that Starmer could preside over Britain's decline as a NATO leader. And then there's Jacob Rees-Mogg, who has wasted no time in tearing into Labour's defence policy. In a now viral clip, Rees-Mogg branded the delayed spending increase as a clear sign of weakness. Here's what he had to say.
The number one priority of any government is defence of the realm, and it was only a matter of time before Labour betrayed that obligation. After repeatedly implying that it would maintain defence spending during the election campaign, it has been announced that Labour will cut defence spending by £500 million after giving over £1 billion to junior doctors. The cuts have targeted the Watchkeeper drone programme, as well as the Navy's landing platform docks, HMS Albion and HMS Bulwark, and the Type 23 frigate HMS Northumberland. But none of this should be a surprise. Of those in the Labour government, many were in the NATO-opposing pacifist Jeremy Corbyn's shadow cabinet. To name a few, the Leader of the House, Lucy Powell, Northern Ireland Secretary Hilary Benn, Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, Defence Secretary John Healey, and, of course, the Prime Minister himself, the Reverend Sir Keir Starmer. All of these people wanted Jeremy Corbyn to be the Prime Minister. Now, Jeremy Corbyn wanted NATO to be disbanded, claiming it could create great danger in the world. He wanted decommissioned Trident, infamously voting against its renewal in 2016.
And delay. This isn't just a domestic embarrassment, it's an international one. The United States has long considered the UK one of its closest allies, and the so-called special relationship has been a cornerstone of Britain's foreign policy. Yet Starmer's hesitance to commit to higher defence spending sends a dangerous message to Washington. At a time when NATO is rallying to counter threats from Russia and China, Britain's perceived retreat could have far-reaching consequences. Labour is trying to salvage the situation, with Armed Forces Minister Luke Pollard insisting that the 2.5% target is a cast-iron commitment, but his assurances fell flat when he admitted that Britain's military is grappling with a recruitment crisis, low morale and crumbling infrastructure. Pollard attempted to pin the blame on years of Conservative mismanagement, but the growing discontent within Labour's own ranks suggests that Starmer's leadership is failing to inspire confidence. Former Defence Secretary Michael Fallon didn't mince words, calling for the 2.5% target to be implemented now. Labour must take defence more seriously. We face multiple threats now, so 2.5% should be the minimum in this Parliament, Fallon said. His warning is just one of many that highlight the potential risks of Starmer's delayed action. As if this defence debacle wasn't enough, Starmer is also facing backlash over a leaked Home Office document that's reignited concerns about two-tier policing in Britain. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage and Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick have long warned about unequal policing standards, particularly in cases involving grooming gangs and pro-Palestine protests. The leaked document shared with GB News has added fuel to the fire, branding claims of two-tier policing as a right-wing extremist narrative. The document's controversial stance has sparked outrage across the political spectrum. Critics argue that the government's broadened definition of extremism, which now includes issues like misogyny and conspiracy theories, risks diluting counter-terror efforts. Security Minister Dan Jarvis attempted damage control, clarifying that Islamist extremism and far-right extremism remain the UK's biggest threats. But the leaked document has already left many questioning Labour's commitment to addressing genuine public concerns. Shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp delivered a blistering response, accusing the government of smearing those who raise legitimate concerns. Reform UK MP Rupert Lowe pointed to apparent double standards in how protests are policed, highlighting the stark contrast between the treatment of pro-Palestine marches and lockdown protests during the pandemic. It's a debate that has exposed deep divisions within Labour and the wider political landscape, and just when it seemed things couldn't get worse for Starmer, he's landed himself in yet another controversy, this time involving drag queen Lawrence Chaney. The former winner of RuPaul's Drag Race UK was invited to a Burns Night celebration at number 10, but Chaney's past comments have sparked criticism from women's rights advocates and Harry Potter fans alike. Chaney has been a vocal critic of J.K. Rowling, accusing the author of stoking hate against transgender people. The drag queen has also shared controversial posts comparing concerns about single-sex spaces to racial segregation in 1960s America. Former Labour MP Rosie Duffield questioned whether Starmer's team had vetted the guest list for the event, describing Chaney's past behaviour as deeply troubling. The backlash has raised questions about Starmer's judgment and his ability to navigate sensitive cultural issues without alienating key voter groups. All these scandals paint a damning picture of Starmer's leadership, from defence spending delays that risk alienating the US to a Burns Night blunder that's reignited debates over free speech and gender ideology. The Labour leader seems incapable of escaping controversy. As his own MPs grow increasingly restless and public confidence continues to waver, one has to wonder, is this the beginning of the end for Starmer's ambitions? If you want more updates on these explosive stories and the latest twists in UK politics, hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and stay tuned. The scandals aren't going away anytime soon, and we'll be here to bring you every jaw-dropping moment as it unfolds.